Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Winter Pride 2020. I continue to be Glitchwitch, and today I am joined by the ever-present Firesplitter, who will lead two for us. And you didn't come here for me. You all came here for Firesplitter, so please take it away.
Hello everyone, it's Firesplitter here, and today we are going to play Bleed 2, and the category we are going to play today is the very beginner-friendly and pretty easy run category that is Story New Game. It's a very simple category in which we are basically playing on the easy difficulty level and we play on New Game, which means that we are not going to see a lot of the weapons in the game, but we are definitely going to be able to focus more on the movement due to this, because I can have way more time to explain the movement stuff. That is very important in this run. So yeah, I can start like right now and I'm gonna go through the run as we go. I will do a countdown, 3, 2, 1, and start. So we are starting off with the first stage. The first stage is relatively easy in this game, but we are gonna get a couple of opportunities to watch the movements. The main way to move this game is gonna be by dashing, as you can see here, and normally we can only do 3 dash in a row. But if we do certain tricks like we're doing here, we can like keep on dashing for an unspecified amount of time. And there are several ways to do this. The most common we gotta do in the run, because the most consistent way to do this is by doing something that's called ledge resetting. Basically what that means is that we are gonna run off ledges and do a dash reset by that way. That way the game is gonna think that we landed and get 3 more dashes. Which means that we can basically keep on dashing. And we are now done with the first 2 bosses of the game. They're really short tutorial bosses, really. The first boss is meant to show off the fact we can use this button to reflect bullets. And the second boss was meant to show that we can slow down time, which we are basically not using the slow motion feature at all in this run, preferably. And I personally never ever use it. Here comes the first like real boss. And this boss is, well, a lot of the bosses in this game are gonna be very samey from a mechanical perspective, but they're gonna have very different patterns. The main thing in this game is that you should always reflect the purple bullets with the sword. You can't reflect the yellow ones, but you can reflect all purple. All purple stuff you can reflect. Which is done to deal heavier damage to the boss, and it's very important in the new game category. Which is part of why I really love the new game category, because I do really love the reflex mechanic of this game. And here we have the first of many auto scrolls in this game. This is probably one of the shorter auto scrolls. We get to see a lot of longer auto scrolls later, and here comes the final boss of the first level, which is the Mirror Core. The Mirror Core is gonna shoot out all of these long lanes of bullets that we have to reflect, and then we gotta do random stuff, and there we go, we got the perfect thing there. We basically want everything that's purple from the bosses. When the boss turns purple, we basically reflect, and that's like the best way to deal damage in this game, like, there's like no competition there. Whenever the boss turns purple, you reflect the boss takes so much damage, it's ridiculous. Which is part of the big RNG in this game, because this game is like very RNG dependent at this point of its life cycle. Because the run is pretty much optimized to the point where a lot of the time difference between different runs comes down to what RNG they get onto different bosses. Especially a couple of bosses will go into way later in the run. Build a little bit of movement there. Nothing too bad though, nothing too bad. And here comes the Kitty Shopper. This boss is gonna shoot a lot of rockets at us. Some of them can be purple like that, which means that we can reflect them. What we want here is basically for this boss to turn purple and not fly away. This is the worst thing this boss can do, because while it's off screen, you can't hurt it. It's a really bad boss mechanic, but we take what we take in this game. That's how it works when we run this game. We take what you take. And just run with it.
What did you say the name of that boss was?
Kitty Shopper.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like a cat shop. It's like a cat shopper, as you could see.
I was gonna say, I think you said that, but that seems too on the nose. Well, okay.
The name of the boss, we'll see the names of the bosses at the credits. And here comes the semi-core. The goal here is basically to stay on top of this car and shoot it until it gets destroyed. If we're lucky, we get to see a car shooting up a big purple missile here, like that. If we can reflect, we do some huge damage back. That's not a guarantee to happen though. Some rounds can have it happen non-timers at all, and some runs have it happen twice, which is like the best thing. It's not huge to have it happen twice, but you definitely want it to happen once. And here comes the first meetup with the game's main antagonist, which is Valentine. Her biggest aspiration in life is to become the greatest villain of all time. And by doing that, she has to defeat the greatest hero of all time, who happens to be Grim. Which is why she's invading Earth. This fight against her is pretty easy. It's very hard to lose this fight, but this fight has a very annoying mechanic that we've seen with us. It's nothing that is a big problem once you're an experienced runner, but it's a very, very punishing mechanic. It's probably the most punishing boss fight in the entire game if you fail at all. Because if you fail a single mechanic here, you see we're standing on top of the car here, and we get a little green thing there that shows we complete a mechanic. We have to complete the mechanics to get the yellow-haired guy in the car to basically shoot the big rock at her. If you fail the mechanic and the car gets hit in any way, shape, or form, he will not shoot. So if that happens, we basically lose about 10 seconds of time right there. It's the most punishing boss fight in the game. It's almost impossible to actually die on this boss fight, but it's very easy to fail it, especially when you're new to the run. And now it comes to the first stage. This stage is very heavy on all scrollers, but there are some boss fights here. There are some boss fights sprinkled in. Here we are basically traveling up into a spaceship. Like you can see there. There's gonna be a lot of all scrollers, but there are 3 boss fights, and the boss fights on this course are very, very fun. The first boss we're gonna see soon is a boss fight called Red Sprite. And she's probably my second favorite boss in this game, either second or most favorite boss. She's gonna shoot a lot of purple bullets at us, and we're gonna have to reflect them. Well, we don't have to reflect, but we want to, because as I said before, reflecting purple is so huge in this game, and we missed one, of course. And it's like so easy to do a lot of damage for using that. And now we're coming to the second part of the auto-scroller, and after this we're gonna fight one of my least favorite boss in this game, who is the Ninja. We gotta see why I hate him so much when we get there, or them. As they have, yeah. Data. So let's see here. Here comes the Ninja. The Ninja is one of the more annoying bosses of this game. The first phase is pretty easy. They are gonna dash down to us and basically do a lot of little things. It's a very easy phase, but phase 2 is the one that's annoying, and that's only because of this little thing. We're gonna abuse a little glitch here that allows us to hurt the boss, but we normally can't hurt them. It makes the boss way faster, but it's very, very easy to go for a little bit too much of the pit there. Thankfully we didn't have that happen, so this boss was very, very, very quickly disposed of. But it's a very annoying mechanic from a run perspective, and now we have a pretty long all-scroller section here, so it's a very, very good time here to read some donations.
Oh, I can certainly help you with that. We had $10 from Azure Tiger 81 with no comment, but thank you so much, Azure Tiger. And as well, we have $10 from our previous runner, Bonnie Bond, saying, "Thank you again for all the fantastic friendos at Power Up with Pride for having me in your marathon and working to raise money for such a great cause. Money goes to making Sparko do some crazy stuff. Love y'all, and I hope you're having a fantastic rest of the marathon." Thank you so much, Bonnie.
So now we're back with the last boss of this level, which is Rex Rocket. Rex Rocket is also another one of the really, really fun bosses. You have to jump around with little rockets he shoots, which is a very, very fun mechanic. Very, very fun mechanic. If we're lucky, they are gonna shoot some purple rockets at us. We weren't that lucky though. But it's still a very, very, very fun boss fight. And now we're going into the segment of the run I like to call it the boss gauntlet. Because we are gonna see a lot of bosses at the end of this stage. Like back to back. There are gonna be like 4 bosses back to back. First, we're gonna finish a pretty easy platformer segment here. And here comes the first boss of this level, is the Chef Spammer. The goal here is basically clean up while it shoots out, which we're doing by switching to the katana. There we go. The reason why we switch katana is because we are still hurting the boss while we clean up, otherwise we won't do that. Those are really, really good Chef Spammer. So here we go. Here comes the most punishing all scroll segment of this entire run. This thing is gonna go faster and faster and faster until we're done, ideally. But if we get hit, the entire all scroll is gonna slow down. It's a very, very good feature for casual players, and it's gonna go pretty fast towards the end actually. Especially the higher difficulty levels, it goes extremely fast. However, from a speedrunning perspective, it's very annoying as you lose, like, I think you lose about 7 to 8 seconds if you get hit just a single time there. If you get hit more time, you lose way more time. On easy it shouldn't be a problem though, but it can be a problem in the higher difficulty levels to get hit there. And you have to basically memorize which enemies are gonna shoot purple and yellow bullets on those difficulty levels, as some enemies will shoot yellows, which is gonna make so that you basically can't reflect the bullets, you have to dodge very well. Here comes the first boss in the boss round, which is Rubble Ducky. This is probably the easiest boss in the game, but it's a very, very fun boss still. The boss can do two things. Either it can use all the little birds to shoot out to basically attack, or it can just stand there. And with the sense, it can either turn yellow, purple, or no color at all. Of course, we want to turn purple, which didn't happen. It doesn't always happen with this boss, you know. And here comes the Rubble Ducky instantly. This is a very, very fun boss fight as well. We gotta dance around with these worms a little bit. And there we go. This can be a good pattern. If we manage to defeat this boss before the second cycle is done. Otherwise, it's not really good. I had a really, really short second cycle, sadly. We are gonna see a little bit of a time loss here because we're gonna have to watch that. It's very possible to see that boss on before the second mechanic happens if you get that one as the first one. It's obviously not certain though, it really depends on a couple factors. One of which is how well you handle that mechanic, and here goes the hardest boss in the game probably, with Rubble White. The problem with this boss is that the boss is flying around, and you can only shoot through the segment of the boss that is not shielded. Thankfully, we quickly take care of that, and we go right to the final boss there with Rubble Bunny. Rubble Bunny is very, very simple. She's gonna fly around, and she's gonna do one of two things. Either she's gonna do that, or she's gonna drop a car. It's fair that she does that thing, because she's always shooting a purple there, which is amazing. And there we go. There was the big rock, which is not what we want, but it's fine to get one of those. If we get two of those though, we're gonna lose a lot of time there, because it's very, very unlikely we're gonna be able to beat her in 2 cycles then. And due to the fact she flies around and we can't hurt her when she flies around, it means that we are losing quite a bit of time if that happens. And now we go into the probably hardest course of this entire game, because we have 2 extremely hard boss fights here, or not extremely hard, but I really only move one boss fight that's actually hard, but that fight it's very, very easy to take a lot of damage in that fight, which can make the rest of the run a little nastier. This is probably the split where we take the most damage on average. And it's mostly due to this boss, but also due to a platforming thing we'll get to later. This is the segment slider, who has a lot of little things around him. Looks a lot like the yellow boss from Mega Man.
I remember this boss in particular gave me a really hard time on some of the harder difficulties.
Oh yeah, this is a very, very hard boss in the higher difficulty levels.
Please, it's real mean.
Yeah, this is probably my least favorite boss if I play on very hard. It's either this one or the final boss, who is my least favorite on very hard. But yeah, there we go. We have a very, very good health bar here, which is very good because we're gonna have a really nasty patching segment afterwards. We gotta fight 2 bosses now in a row. Well, it's basically the same boss, but different phases of it. And that's the Nemesis core. The first phase here is really easy. We just gotta stand up here and reflect stuff and dodge the lasers. You can actually reflect lasers, but it doesn't really do anything. It basically only gives you a little bit of an opening to get through the laser. It's nothing really to aim at, but yeah. It's a little fun little thing. It's actually possible. And here comes the second phase. I gotta use a little... There's a little thing here where you can... It's basically shield, but if you stand really close, you can actually hit with a gun. It's nothing we can do very much in this run, as much as we can, because that's a relatively new strategy for me, so I don't really want to do it. It's very easy to miss a lot of damage while doing so. Which can make the platforming segment a little hairier than we want to. Perform. There we go. That was very good. And now we're coming to the platforming segment. We shouldn't have any problem here, but this part is basically known as a graveyard in this category because it's very easy to accidentally kill a run here. Because it's so late on a split that is pretty hard, so you can actually enter here pretty easily with like 1 health point left. By playing way too high risk on the other bosses, which I'm not really doing here, so I'm not going to world record attempt. So I'm actually playing a little conservatively on like the other bosses here to make this part a little safer. It's very easy to accidentally take hit in that section though. And yeah, if you take a hit there, you're basically gonna enter... There are some parts where if you take hits, you are gonna be way off the pace. And here we are in the worst RNG shape in this game. And that is anti-pattern. This boss has a lot of different patterns. Some patterns are better than others, and the pattern we just saw with the rockets is the worst one. The best pattern is this one we see right here with the Pac-Man. Because the boss is gonna turn either purple or yellow now. This is the only really purple thing on this boss. So it's a very big opportunity to do a lot of damage. Plus the boss is solid for a very long time, because the boss is not solid unless it's doing an attack form. Which means that a lot of time is lost between each and every single cycle there. So we want to kill the boss in as few cycles as possible. I think that was 4 cycles, which is not really good, but it's not really horrible either. You want to kill the boss ideally in 3 cycles, but 4 cycles is way okay. And now we're coming to the final showdown against Valentine, the main antagonist. And this fight is fun. We gotta take some intentional damage here because we gotta do a little trick after the third phase. As you can see in the background, we can see each Jaguar's health bar. And as you can read on the little sign there, it is actually showing what attacks the boss is doing. And it says it's super effective or it's not very effective.
I always love the setup.
Like Pokemon. Yeah, it's a Pokemon reference, but a very cool reference.
Yeah, the whole way this fight flows is just so cool, and just having everything on the screen. It's such a rad thing.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. Oh, yeah. Doesn't this have the mode where you can fight random amounts of bosses at the same time in this arena?
Oh yeah, you can.
Such a fun way to play this.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah.
Phase 3, which is the, in my opinion, the hardest phase of this fight. He's gonna dash around, teleport around, and go. He's gonna do a couple of different mechanics there. It doesn't matter that I take damage here. I'm basically taking damage on purpose because I'm putting up very quick to get you after this phase. And for that we need to have we don't need to have super low health, but we definitely want to have less health. There we go. That's the only big purple in this fight, by the way, and it's possible for that to not be purple, which is horrible. If that happens, it's pretty bad. We gotta take some damage here, and we're gonna actually take an intentional death here when she rises up here. The reason why we do that is because there's gonna be a long cutscene there. A very long cutscene that we skip by doing that. If we jump earlier though, way too early, it's actually gonna reset the boss fight, and that we don't want. So I basically jumped out a little later than normal to ensure it didn't happen. And now we're gonna exploit a little mechanic here. Oh, come on. We were gonna try to stun lock here, but of course we failed because it's a marathon, and in marathon you have to have active happen, otherwise it's not a real marathon run. And let's overwork this time. Yeah, there we go. What you're supposed to be doing here is that you are gonna do that for all of the three things there, so it doesn't fly around. Each time you fail that, you can use the somewhere between 6, 7, 8 seconds, something like that. And there we go. Now Valentine is done. The big antagonist is down, but we are not done yet. There is still way more to this run. There is one more run going. I am gonna give a little explanation of the story that's gonna happen here. Because we're not gonna watch the cutscene. The cutscene here is extremely long, so we gotta skip it. And the way to skip this cutscene is by pressing... We have to press like buttons during the start of this stage, otherwise we are gonna have to watch a really long cutscene. The plot that's happening here is that the yellow-haired guy is upset because everyone is giving Bryn all of the credit for defeating Valentine while he helped. So he basically challenged her to a fight to decide to use the actually biggest hero of all time. And if Bryn wins, he has to stop challenging her all the time for the title of biggest hero and just come to her place and play video games. And if she loses, he gets recognized as the greatest hero of all time. It's a very, very interesting thing, and it's like a continuation of the story arc of the first Wii game.
Also, isn't he like the second player character if you play co-op?
Not by necessity.
Oh.
You can play as a Bryn with a different character as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There are many characters you can play as. You can play as the same character as the other person.
That I did not know.
He also has a little bit of different mechanics that's playable though. He can actually reflect yellow bullets because he has yellow hair, of course, so of course he reflects the yellow bullets. Because apparently the color of your hair decides which bullets you can reflect, so if I live this universe, I would probably make my color both purple and yellow, so I can reflect all the bullets, but I don't think any character in this game have decided to figure out that logic yet. But here we go down into the final stretch here. We're not gonna fight 3 more bosses in a row. The first boss here is... Well, the first 2 bosses are gonna be very, very similar-ish. They're very different, but they are gonna feel... Their aesthetics are gonna be very similar. On this boss fight, we once again want purple rockets, but we are not getting any. Okay, oh no, we got a yellow rocket, we can't take that. There we go. Let's go down and let's go to the crawling board. This is one of the more unique bosses in this game, I would say. I would say this is the second most unique boss after Rex Rocket. The goal in this boss fight is basically to go from start to basically destroy it. And here's the thing where I think this boss is very, very unique and interesting. This is the only boss in the game you can actually defeat without shooting a single bullet at it or doing a single hit on it. Because the boss takes damage by going into the rocks. We're not really highlighting it much here though, because we definitely want to hurry up a little bit, as we are speedrunning after all. But it's very possible to beat this boss fight without doing any damage to the boss. It's possible to do a pacifist run of this boss fight. It's way rougher though, because fights are going longer. And here comes the final boss fight, the rival. Also the second worst RNG check in the game, right at the end of the run, of course. This boss has a lot of patterns. This is thankfully the best one, when he goes up and shoots the bullets to a kick. This is one of the bad ones, which is basically it's gonna take up a rocket launcher. The problem with this pattern is that you can actually when you hit the rockets, you basically not do damage, which is why I use the katana there, because then I can both clean up the rockets and do damage on them. Here comes the worst pattern, which is the katana. It works exactly like the ninja's katana, only that he used while using it. So we are exploiting the same little glitch there to deal some damage. And there we go. There we go. That was the final boss, and it's time.
Oh, GG. That
Thanks.
felt like you didn't take a breath the entire run.
Nope. It's a very, very action-packed game, and to keep on explaining everything as happens is you basically can't stop talking because the run is the game is so short, but there's like so much to it while you are running it.
Yeah, it is such a fast and action-packed and just non-stop run. I remember sitting in the audience of GDQ and watching the first game, I think.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I saw this one come out, I'm like, yeah, I need to play this. So I'm super excited to see it at Power with Pride.
It's a very, very, very good game. It's very, very... There's like so much happening, which makes it like such a good speed game. I think the longest period of time you are not really doing anything is like half a minute. That's like the longest time there's nothing interesting at all happening.
Yeah.
The entire run.
It's also got all these wild customization things of just like, if you thought this game was not hard enough on the hardest difficulty, there is an option to make it even harder. And they're like, hey, the game might not be beatable if you play with this toggle. And you're like, well, whatever.
It is. I have beaten it with that toggle.
Amazing.
It's not recommended though.
Oh yeah,
the game gets way harder than.
I think I was at the first or second tutorial boss, and I'm like, wow, this is wild.
Yeah, I know, right? This is really long. So, what time did I end at?
Let's see. That was a 23:19.
Ooh, that's very good.
Excellent.
Yeah. But yeah, this was Bleed 2, and it was really fun to show it up here. And this was the most beginner-friendly category there is. There is a lot of categories of this game to speedrun. I think we're up to... I think there are 24 different categories right now.
That is a lot of categories.
If I don't remember incorrectly, let's see here. And there's something like that, at least for... I think there's something like that. Yeah, sounds about right. And both are different difficulty levels, but there's also a difference between one continue, which is the arcade style, which we are not doing. I'm not doing that in marathon runs. That means that the run can die, so I avoid that for marathons. And it's not really nice if I, die 20 minutes into the run, and the game starts over from the beginning. In a marathon run. Even though it's a very good category to run, it's just not really marathon safe all the time.
I love all these boss names. This is just very good content right here.
Yeah, it is. I really like the profiles as well on these bosses.
I almost don't want to interrupt, but at the same time, keeping the marathon forward is priority one.
Don't worry about it.
Please, if you have any closing remarks for your shoutouts for yourself, go for it. And then
I want to shout out to Yakut and Xiao and Eviona and Blue Mane, who are the other really big main runners of this game right now. I also want to do a little shout out to Noob, who's a previous really big runner of this game, who haven't really been running much of it late, but still has made a lot of discoveries in the game early on in its lifetime. So yeah, that was it for my shout outs, I think.
Fabulous. Well, y'all, this is still Power Up with Pride Winter Pride 2020. That was Bleed 2.